Okay, so my experience of open awareness and really tuning into open awareness in a way that feels good to me is usually through micro movement and not having to be still. So being in motion. So I want to invite this idea of open awareness as we're moving. So it's like I know in meditation and in non-duality, sometimes you're just you're being the ocean, allowing the waves and the ripples to happen while you're in stillness. In this version of open awareness, in this embodied version, we're allowing the ocean and waves to move so that it's moving through us and with us. And it might feel at first like you're making it happen. I'm moving myself, but eventually it can come into just arising. And it's kind of a combo platter of making it happen and allowing it to happen. But I feel most people have learned really well how to inhibit their systems from moving. So in this version, we're just inviting the movement into our system. And we'll start today rubbing our hands together. So just bringing well, if we were going to do Reiki and hands on, this would be the beginning, or even like Chi, taking the feeling into our energetic system. So one reason to do this is to bring movement into our hands, right? They're moving together in this we don't have to think about it way. And let's play with that, just slowly opening and closing. It doesn't have to be a full open and a full close, but just so that you're imagining like you have a ball of energy in there and you're feeling that energy expand gently and then feeling it come back in together. So we start to tune to movement without having to think too much about how we're moving or what we're doing. And it could be that you're inhaling, opening, exhaling, closing, or it could take longer. So we're kind of playing with this as if there's like a horizontal line between our hands that we're opening and closing. It could be more three-dimensional than that. And maybe the ball is easier to imagine or feel. So anything that works for you with that sensation, but just allowing your body to have this flow, this natural flow of growing and shrinking as effortless as possible. So when I'm on the growing part of that, when I tune into this, it feels like very easy for my hands to open up effortlessly. For me today, there's a little bit more effort bringing it back in together. But we're inviting the system to come online with as little effort as possible. So as little trying as possible. And it's much more just allowing. And even as I speak, like I feel like my whole body is kind of wrapped around this energetic field that's right here in front of me, as opposed to being I'm looking at the screen or looking at the video camera, whatever. So let yourself start to tune into that awareness with this subtle level of growing and shrinking that's happening on a cellular level. And we're going to add a sound. I think I want to go with the hum. So the hum is just going to be any kind of hum. I'm still just breathing it as I feel into this. Yeah, humming on the exhale for as long as it feels good. The hands can move in and out in any way that feels interesting to you right now. So there's not a right or wrong about this. You can move into different dimensions. You can even go forward and backward. And if it brings your body into more movement, invite that in. So we're just allowing movement to bubble up, to be part of the stream of what's happening. And we're allowing ourselves to tune and to that movement bubbling in this very open way. The hum can last for as long as it feels comfortable. And for me, once I start to hum, there's sort of a micro movement of my tongue, which in my head creates some overtones. And I feel like my hands are playing with the shape of that sound. And in my head, in my cranium, in my jaw, in my throat, I can feel the vibration really shifting in location as I move my tongue. So feel free to let that be part of the play. Mm. Mm. Trusting that if anything comes into your imagination, like for me, the idea of like working with a potter's wheel and having this mass of clay and shaping it kind of came into my awareness and my movement. So all of that stuff is free play. This is just a way to get us going, allowing the rest of the body to come online as well. So there's this natural fluid movement happening. We're tuning into the sense of flow in our body. You don't have to force it. If it's not happening, stay with just the hands or your imagination moving. But let's invite in this idea of like sea grasses and water. We are bodies of water, and there is fibrous material in our bodies. So we could think of that being like this movement of sea grasses. And you can be seated or lay on your back any way that you want to, just allowing movement to evolve. So it doesn't have to stay in this ball that we've been playing with or this shape. It can start to just be moving with this idea of growing and shrinking. A very fundamental layer of that could be growing and shrinking with the breath, that on the inhale we're growing and on the exhale we're shrinking. But you may want to expand beyond that and just grow, 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 inhale, exhale, and shrink, 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 inhale, exhale, in any way that feels good to you. So it's almost like you've taken the boundary or the boundedness of your body and allow it to play out into the space in any way that feels interesting. So you're allowing your body to have this dance. And I'm going to go back to the hum, and I'll probably add some theta breath as well. So the theta is the soft hiss. And the flow may sometimes be very light and free, sometimes maybe more stronger and denser. Anyway is fine. The sort of characteristics of flow is that it doesn't stop, that it just keeps going, right? There's no blockage, there's no inhibition. So inviting in that idea into your imagination, sea grasses, no blockage, no inhibition, just freely dancing in the space or freely dancing in the sea, freely dancing in the air. And any sensation in your body may lead to an exploration in movement. So follow along with what is curious, what becomes interesting. And this could be seated. You could even do it standing, laying down. If you start to get lost, come back to the idea of opening and closing with that ball of energy in front of you. And of course, if you get overstimulated or feels like too much is going on, you can always come into stillness. You can tune just into the flow of your breath in the stillness if that feels interesting. And if your mind starts to wander, try to just come back to sensation. But if things are happening, if stories are playing out, if narratives are happening, it's totally fine. They're just there in the awareness. You don't need to constrict or contract because it's happening. You can just go, okay, that's happening. And there may be times where awareness really narrows into one area, and that's fine. It also may happen that as awareness narrows into one, or your focus narrows into one area, another area comes online with some information. So feel free to let that dance around, let that play happen. We're not shutting anything down or shutting anything out. We're just inviting our bodies to move in whatever kind of free flow manner we can tune into, sloughing off the inhibitions and the holding patterns that may have accompanied us into this lifetime or accompanied us through our life. Just letting yourself free up anything that feels restrictive, if that feels good, if that feels interesting. And imagining that your body is just this fluid river, ocean of energy and motion, and you can tune into it. And as we tune into it, it's like we're alighting. Is that a word? Not alighting on something, but lightening up, like little lights popping in all over around our body, little lights of awareness, like the galaxy of each of us. I'm going to add music so that I will then be quiet and we can just play in that space. So this first one that I'm going to add is Michelle Aiello, and then it's going to go into ambient fields. Spacious, open awareness in every cell of your body, or at least invited into every cell. one more thing to say is that this broad, open internal awareness deeply accepts everything that you are, deeply accepts everything that you feel, think. You don't have to hide anything from this expansive, spacious, internal awareness practice. Just let it all shine through. If you want to let yourself move into new territory, as soon as you start to notice a pattern or a direction that you're going, go somewhere different. So maybe it's a slowing something down or speeding something up or moving in a different body part, but start as soon as it becomes familiar, shifting it. Unless you're really digging the familiar. If you're happy in there, then that's fine too. You can stay there. But if we want to start to grow our capacity for being present, then allowing us to shift our pathways more often is going to be helpful. And the other thing to say is that anytime you notice you're coming up against a holding or something, clenching or trying or grasping, just ask yourself, is there something I can let go of here? Can I make this softer? Can I make this easier? Can I make it more gentle? Can I just be here and accept it without any judgment, without any right or wrong? And if you want to take yourself deeper in, you can just ask that, can I go deeper? Can I be more spacious? If you feel like you're searching for an answer, let go of that. Let go of the answer. There's no need for an answer. Just being present in your experience is enough. Another question you could ask, just, is there something I can let go of? Is there something I'm holding that I could just let go of? Ungrasp a hand, unclasp the fingers, just let it be easy. Is there some way that I'm blocking my flow? And if so, can I just let go of that? Can that just disappear magically by letting it go? I promise you will not fall off the planet if you let go. But sometimes the more we let go, the more of a sensation of free fall we encounter. And if that starts to be too much, just come back into the room or come into stillness. But if it feels okay, keep following it. It'll keep shifting and changing. And always letting yourself come back to stillness if that feels good too. So there can still be flow. And often in these kind of somatic embodiment practices, often the open awareness is sort of a processing station after you've done all the movement. But I really like to bring it in, just allowing whatever arises to arise, and allowing movement to percolate up and free flow to just be effervescent and present. And sometimes it can take a long time to start to release things, or it could just happen in the wink of an eye. And it's not to say that tensions never arise. It's just that we don't hold on to them if they do. We just notice them and then let go of that. They can be there. They don't have to be eradicated. Just going to fade that music out and give us a couple of minutes of either stillness or to continue moving, but just to allow yourself to process whatever's going on. Allow yourself to, or whatever went on. Yeah, sometimes the re-entry, maybe some familiar patterning is helpful. Or stillness, or relative stillness. In some ways, it's like we're just becoming more intimate with being and modes of being, states of being, a little dance of consciousness with spaciousness, with vitality. Anyone who was watching in TV land, please feel free to like. It's so weird to do an ad at the end of that. I'm just